Good morning, friends. I am Dr. Divya Varma-Gakhar, Assistant Professor in Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University. Welcome to the series of lectures on financial management. Till now, we have talked about financing decision. For any business organization, finance is a very important function. So as a finance manager, as a CFO of a company, you're supposed to take three important financial decisions. These include financing decision, investment decision, and dividend decision. Financing decision involves decisions related to arranging for sources of funds. Once we know that from where we are going to get the money, how much money we need to collect to start the business, to carry on the business activities smoothly. So once the sources of funds are arranged, capital structure is designed for the company, second important decision which comes in front of a finance manager is investment decision. Now, investment decision relates with how to invest this fund which is already collected in the form of capital from the investors, where to invest this money. Now, investment can be in the form of long-term investment and short-term investment. So, with respect to the balance sheet of a company, we would invest the money in fixed assets of the company and current assets of the company. So when we are going to take this investment decision, especially the long-term investment decision, we have tools available in financial management which are related to taking this long-term investment decision in a right way, which are called capital budgeting decision. And when we are talking about current assets investment, then we would look at the working capital management decisions or working capital management tools that are available. So today's lectures focus is on capital budgeting, which is a technique of long-term investment decision. And talking about long-term investment decision, why this decision is so important? Talking about the importance of the technique of capital budgeting and importance of long-term investment decision. So when a company, what kind of decisions are a part of long-term investment decision? And these decisions can be related to where should the company set up their plant? Where should be the factory located for the company? Should the company construct their own office building or should they take it on rent? It can be related to buying a new plant, buying a new machinery, buying certain other fixed assets for the company, or taking it on lease. You can buy computers for the company or take it on lease. There can be decisions related to buy and lease decisions, which we have already studied in cost accounting, where we try to identify that do the budgeting and costing of lease and buy decision. Apart from that, there can be any such decision which is related to setting up, launching a new project, or setting up your factory businesses in some new location, or setting up your business in a foreign location. So talking about all these decisions, since all these decisions or all these projects are going to involve huge amount of money. So one basic feature of long-term investment is that the investment in long-term assets is large as compared to short-term assets. Secondly, the long-term assets are decisions which are taken for long-term, and these are irreversible in nature. So that is why buying a fixed asset or taking a long-term investment decision is very strategic for a business organization, because the return on investment or return on capital employed of that company will largely depend upon how you have taken the long-term investment decisions of the company. Also, if you have to take a long-term decision that you want to set up your business operations in location A or location B, and you have to make a choice out of these two locations. So which location you would set up your factory would depend on various factors related to. So you can do cost benefit analysis of these two locations, location A and location B, and then come up with a solution that okay, maybe cost wise location A is costlier as compared to location B, but the long-term benefits of location A are much more than the benefits which we are going to get in location B. So based on the cost benefit analysis and comparison of two different alternatives in which one can make an investment of long-term investment, one can decide that okay, which one is better and which one has to be chosen. So like this, when we are buying a machinery, there can be various brands of machinery which is available. which can give us output of various quality and quantity, and we have to do a cost benefit analysis of various brands or kind of machines which are available, or whether we have to buy a machine or we have to take it on lease. So when we are talking about and we are analyzing all of these alternatives which are available, whether we have to invest in a machine of brand A, brand B, brand C, or we have to buy a machine or take it on lease. All of these decisions are going to impact our long-term profitability of the business. So that is why, and these kind of decisions are like irreversible in nature. So if you set up your factory at location A as compared to location B, and after 2-3 years you realize that that was a wrong decision, can you reverse that? No, we cannot reverse that because it will involve huge amount of costs. So because of the cost involved in reversing a long-term fixed asset purchase decision, this decision is very, very strategic in nature. So that is why one has to look at the long-term benefits which any decision, which any alternative which we are going to select for long-term investment of the assets. We need to be very specific and we need to be careful about this decision. That is what is the relevance of capital budgeting. Now, how much investment you're going to make in the fixed assets of the company, let's say land, building, machinery, plant, and other vehicles and other kind of fixed assets which you buy. So whether it should be a buy or lease decision, whether it should be starting of a new factory, or it is a decision related to setting up your plant at various locations. So all of these decisions involve one basic step, that is cost benefit analysis and comparison of various alternatives that are available. So based on that, one can decide that out of all those alternatives, which one is the best alternative, which one has to be chosen, and which one has to be rejected. Now, how this cost benefit analysis is done? And there are a few things which need to be considered while taking the long-term capital budgeting decision. One thing is that how much is the initial capital involved. So when you are going to start up a factory, so you have to take a decision, let's say, that whether you want to start your factory at location A or location B. Now, all out of those two alternative locations which are there, you have to first see that how much cost will be involved. So cost of acquiring land for setting up a plant at location A or at location B, how much would be the cost of land which you are going to buy? Are there any kind of subsidies or tax-free benefits which government is going to give you if you start your plant at location A or location B? Then building up of plants sometimes do not involve investment in just 1 year or one go. So it can be building of a plant can take, let's say, 6 months, 1 year, or up to 2-3 years of time. So how much would be the outflow of funds during these 2-3 years when the factory is getting built up or the plant is getting set up? So once the plant is set up, after that production will start, and then you have to see how much returns are coming from that plant in terms of how much production is happening and what are the other intricacies or finer details of the production which is done, that how much it will be sold. So assuming whatever you produce is going to get sold in the market, still there are other factors like, once a plant is built, to reach its optimum capacity, how much would be your sales and how much would be your cash inflows in terms of sales receipt or revenue earned from that project, from that production in that plant over, let's say, 1 year time, 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, and next 5 to 10 years down the line. Now, all of this would be forecasting. Today, you are deciding that if you set up your plant at location A or location B, what is going to be the cost involved and what is going to be the probable future inflows in terms of revenues which you're going to earn in next 5 years, let's say, or 10 years down the line. So all of this involved is a lot of forecasting based on various factors, which are, let's say, how much you will be able to sell in first year of production that is going to take place. How much you're going to sell in second year of production which is going to take place in plant A as well as in plant B. Now, if you compare all the future inflows which you're going to get by setting up your plant at location A and at location B, so those would be your revenues or inflows from the project and outflows which you have incurred in terms of fixed asset investment in that plant. So comparing the two returns, so benefit minus the cost, whichever project gives you benefits over a longer period of time or higher benefits, that project is chosen, or that let's say factory site is chosen and selected. That is how it is done. Now, when we are talking about this kind of a scenario where you are doing a lot of forecasting and trying to find out that, whether your project will be, whether plant A is better or plant B is better, and you're doing some kind of futuristic calculation and forecasting of revenues and outflows which you're going to incur in times to come. So that means there are a lot of probabilities involved of happening and not happening of certain events. So if that is what is the risk involved when we are choosing a particular project or when we're choosing a particular business idea or plant location to be decided. So whenever there is probability involved of happening or not happening the events in a certain way, so there is risk which comes into picture. So we need to also analyze the capital budgeting decisions, which are just the cost benefit analysis, keeping in view some kind of simulations and scenario, or all those risk factors that can affect. For example, inflation can be one factor. Then there can be other factor like how much would be the sales growth over those time period for which we are calculating the returns. What would be the rate of interest in the market available at that point of time, 5 years down the line? How much would be the advertisement expenses? How much, so what, all the factors that affect the sales of any manufactured product. So we have to look into all those factors, and all those factors can be favorable to us or they can be unfavorable to us. And we have to keep those into mind while we are taking or doing forecasting for our company for taking a long-term investment decision. So with this kind of briefing, I think we can now, with this setup, we can talk about the capital budgeting decision in detail and look at what are the techniques which are available for us to take this decision. So as I've already explained about the strategic nature of the capital budgeting decision, because as a technique, it is going to help us take long-term investment decision. So because the investment decisions which are going to be taken for fixed assets, they require large investments, they require long-term commitment of funds. This investment in the funds is irreversible in nature. The long-term, it affects the profitability of the company long-term. There is difficulty of investment. A lot of difficulties are there in the investment decision because this investment decisions are going to be forecasting, and there will be risk involved, there will be probabilities attached to it, and judging these probabilities and these factors so nicely can become one needs to have a good forecasting, one needs to have a good look at the investments of the company and the how you take decisions. Also, any decision of capital budgeting is of national importance, so one needs to be careful while taking this decision because it is going to involve the capital formation of the nation. As a technique, capital budgeting is long-term planning for making and financing proposed capital outlay for the company. Capital budgeting is concerned with allocation of firms' scarce resources among the available market opportunities. The consideration of investment opportunities involve comparing the expected future stream of earnings with immediate and subsequent stream of expenditure for it. It helps in analysis of potential additions to the fixed asset. So if you have to buy a fixed asset again, then also a capital budgeting decision is important. It helps you take long-term decisions which involve large expenditure. Now, when we are talking about capital budgeting as a technique and we are trying to do capital budgeting, what are the steps involved? First thing first, we need to see what are the alternatives available. And then we need to calculate the inflows and outflows, the cash inflows and outflows which we are going to get from each project. Then we have to do the riskiness of, assess the riskiness of these cash flows, determine the appropriate cost of capital for each cash flow, find NPV or IRR for the project, and then accept if net present value of the project is greater than 0. And if you're doing the internal rate of return calculation, then if the internal rate of return is greater than weighted average cost of capital, then a project would be chosen. So capital budgeting as a technique is relevant for taking investment decision. There are various stages of investment decision making process. First of all, we need to see that how much fund is allocated for that investment decision. Then we identify profitable project opportunities. After that, appraise and classify proposed projects, evaluate the proposed project, approve and implement the project, and finally, we look at, do the monitoring and do the controlling of the project. Now, what are the methods of investment appraisal? There are various methods of investment appraisal or capital budgeting as a technique. So very basic method is payback period method, accounting rate of return method. Now these methods can be classified, the methods of capital budgeting can be classified into traditional method and discounted method. Under the traditional method, we have payback period method and accounting rate of return method. Under discounting methods, we have net present value method, internal rate of return method, and profitability index. So these are basically basic 5 techniques of capital budgeting for doing, appraising 2 different or comparing 2 or more different projects which are in hand, and how do we do it. So when we talk about traditional methods, so these traditional methods are those methods where we are looking at the cash inflows and outflows, but not taking into consideration the time value of money aspect to it. But in case of discounted methods, we understand that money has got time value, and so we need to discount the future inflows and future outflows of cash based on the time value of money attached to it. So first traditional method we are going to talk about, which is a non-discounting technique of capital budgeting, is payback period method. So payback period method is very simple. In this method, we try to see the number of years required to recover a project cost, or how long does it take to get our money back as in a project. अनुष्मिता, मेरी आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है बेटे, यहाँ बाहर बैठ के खिलौनों से खेलोगी तो मेरी सारी रिकॉर्डिंग वेस्ट हो जाएगी. You have to be inside for another 30 minutes. और टीवी नहीं चलेगा और आपस में बात नहीं करोगे, चुपचाप अपना खेलोगे और कोई रोने चिल्लाने की आवाज नहीं आएगी. मुझे पापा का चार्जर दूसरे रूम में है जहां हम सोते हैं, और ये अपने टॉयज का एक भी खड़का नहीं आएगा. दरवाजा बंद करके करो, नहीं तो दादी के घर चली जाओ अगर ज्यादा शोर मचाना है तो. और जय को भी बोल दो. अब मैं दोबारा बीच में स्टॉप नहीं करूंगी, मैं बोल रही हूं, ठीक है? प्लीज थोड़ा सा कॉपरेट कर लो, फिर मैं बाकी दिन आपके साथ टाइम स्पेंड कर सकती हूँ. डोर बंद कर लो और बाहर मत आना. So payback period method is very simple method in which we try to see the number of that in how many years the cost which we have incurred on project A or project B, in how many years we'll get our money back. So how we can do it? we can simply add on the cash inflows which we are going to get from project A as compared to project B. We can add on all those, and the cumulative cash inflows of the project as soon as they cover up the whole cost of the project, and we say, so that is the payback time period. So whichever project has got a shorter payback time period should be chosen. Now, which paybacks or which cash flows we have to take? So we take annual cash inflows, which is net profit before depreciation and after tax. Now, for example, there are two projects, project L and project S. Now, we have to compare that which project is better. Let's say in project L, the amount of investment which we incur is 100 rupees in the initial year. In the first year, it gives us an inflow of 10 rupees. In the second year, give us a return of 60. And in third year, it gives us a return of 80. Now, we have to see that in how many years our 100 rupees have come back. The first year, we get 10 rupees back. Second year, we get 60. So, cumulative, it becomes 90. So, another 10 rupees will come back, let's say, in another 4 months. So, if we have to do the calculation of payback period method, then it comes out to be like 2.37 years, we'll get our 100 rupees back. Now, if we look at project S, the initial investment in the project is 100 rupees. First year, it gives us a return of 70. Second year, it gives us a return of 50. And third year, it gives us a return of 20. Now, in how many years project S is going to give us our money back? So, it is 70 in the first year, and maybe in 1.6 years approximately, it is going to give us our 100 rupees back. And that is how we, so payback period for project L is 2.37 years and payback period for project S is 1.6 years. So if we talk about payback period method, we are not concerned with the regularity of cash flows, or whether the cash flows are increasing or decreasing, or in what sequence these cash flows are coming, but we are more interested in the number of years, this lesser number of years a project is going to take for giving us our returns back, or our return on investment comes back. What are the strengths and weaknesses of payback period method? It provides an indication. The benefit of this method is that it gives a fair indication of the project risk and liquidity. It is very easy to calculate method and very easy to understand. But this method ignores time value of money, and it also ignores cash flows that will occur after the payback period method, because sometimes there are projects which initially give you less return and later on the returns picks up very fast. Second traditional method, which is again a non-discounting technique, is accounting rate of return method. As per the accounting rate of return, we are trying to calculate a rate of return which a project is going to give us. So any project which is going to give a higher rate of return is a better project. So this method is also known as return on investment or return on capital employed method. So how we are going to calculate it? The formula says that average annual profit after tax is divided by average investment in the project multiplied with 100. So accounting rate of return method distorts all cash flows by averaging them over time. This is one limitation of this method, and it also ignores the time value of money, but it will give you just a rough indication that whether a particular method is going to give which project is going to give you higher returns. So generally you can choose and decide about using this method. Now we talk about the discounted techniques of capital budgeting. Based on these discounting techniques, we take into consideration the aspects of time value of money, because we are going to do the futuristic calculation of future cash inflows which a project can give us and future cash outflows which we are going to get, and we want to discount them to today, because today we are going to take a decision. So all inflows and outflows need to be discounted to their present value. So that means for calculating the present value, we need to understand that we need to have a discounted rate of interest or rate of return which is available in the market, which we can use as a, let's say, benchmark for doing this NPV calculation. So NPV as a method discounts all cash inflows and outflows which are attributable to capital investment project by a chosen percentage. So which is like weighted average cost of capital. It takes sum of all present values of cash inflows and deduct it from the cash outflows of the project. So first of all, how we are going to do this? So we need to know that how much would be cash outflows for the project, for project A and project B. Then we need to look at the inflows. Then we need to compare or we need to look at a rate of discounted rate of interest which is going on in the market and use that rate as a discounted rate, and then try to see the present value of 1 rupee of investment for that cash flows which you are going to get in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the line. Multiply the inflows with the present value, so we'll get the present value cash flows. So present value of cash inflows, subtracting it from the present value of cash outflows will give us net present value. So any project which gives us net present value which is greater than each other, so that project is chosen. But in case there is an independent project, let's say you're not comparing it with anyone, but it is one decision you have to take whether you have to go for launching of this product or you have to go for setting up this plant or not. So if the projects are independent, what is the decision rule? If net present value of the project is greater than 0, so you can choose the project. But in case there are two projects or two alternatives which are mutually exclusive, so we have to choose out of 2-3 alternatives which are given